Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into yet another rendition of my college football top 10 best bets, this time doing week 7. We've already reached week 7. It's crazy. There are a lot of teams on buys, but guys, this week I'm locked and loaded with 17 bets. It's crazy. Last week I had 15. These were the overall results. Not a great week for me. I ended up going 9-6. I expect to do better than that. The Texas game, I don't know what's going on. What is going on with Texas? Penn State with their quarterback getting hurt, that sucks. Other games, if we can just move on past this. Yeah, these last 5 games. The Arizona game. Who else was with me watching the Arizona game at 1 a.m.? Arizona, you're covering. Stop calling timeouts. Stop. Arizona, they were covering. I think they were losing by 14. They were calling timeouts, and UCLA ended up kicking a field goal. Just let them run the clock out. You're gonna cover. You're down by 1 at half. That should be a cover for me. I got you plus 16. What are these teams doing? I don't know, guys. But 17 bets. Let's get right into it. We are locked and loaded. Week number 7. It's a brand new week. That is just beautiful animation, guys. We've got number 1, San Diego State at San Jose State. The over 43. I refuse to think a college football game would be that low scoring. I saw the over-under on this. This is like a Thursday night game. You guys know how Thursday games are. It gets a little frisky. It gets a little weird. Maybe a pick 6 happens. Maybe a kickoff return for a touchdown. Maybe a punt block. Maybe a scoop and score. I'm smelling something. I'm smelling a scoop and score in this game. Give me the over. 43 points for a Thursday night crazy game. I know these two offenses aren't very good. Come on, folks. They're gonna come by. Somebody's gonna score. San Diego State, they're gonna get up to 30. All we need San Jose State is to get to like 14, 2 touchdowns. They're going to do it, guys. The over's going to hit easily there. How about Cal at Oregon? The under 55. These two offenses are terrible. Oregon with Anthony Brown, really, they're not moving the ball well. Cal is a 1-4 on the air. 55 and a half is a large number. Now, I know this is another one. I think this might be a Friday night game. I know it's a 10:30 game. I think it is on Friday night. But it's just one of those dull, late Pac-12 games that really put you to sleep. I could see a final score of this game being like 31-10 or something like that. I thought the over-under on this line was going to be in the upper 40s. I didn't, the fact that it's 55 and a half, it's crazy to me. Give me the under in that one. Moving on to my third bet, I do have Texas -5 versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, to me, is a complete fraud. There is a little bit of a worry that Texas wins this game by less than 5. I know one thing I know for sure. Texas is winning this game. Texas is 100% winning this game. Oklahoma State, I don't know how they're undefeated. It's ridiculous. The worry is, are they going to cover the 5? I think they do. I think Texas ends up scoring maybe 37. Maybe they win a game like 37-30, 37-27, something like that. Bijan Robinson. We know Texas lost in a heartbreaker last week to Oklahoma. I had them +3. The fact that didn't hit, it's ridiculous. But I'm back on Texas -5 versus an overrated Oklahoma State team who has no business being undefeated. Number 4, Auburn at Arkansas, the under 53. KJ Jefferson and that offense really impressed me last weekend. But I'm seeing kind of a dull game. I'm envisioning a dull game. Bo Nix, that Auburn offense, maybe a little dull game. I'm liking the under in this one. Close, low-scoring defensive battle. I think Arkansas wins it at home. But Auburn's a team, a lot of the under has been hitting a lot with Auburn. You go back a few weeks. So I'm liking the under in that one, under 53. Number 5, it is going to be LSU +10 versus Florida. So to me, 10 is just too many points. Really, it is. And Florida's a decent team. They crushed Vandy. They played well against Bama, although that's not impressive now that Bama lost. But it still is kind of impressive. It was at home. But LSU, this is kind of like Ed Orgeron's last gasp. Like, he has a very tough slate coming up. This is going to be their last game. It's a weird noon start time in Louisiana. I think that might be 11 o'clock Central Time. So kind of a weird start time earlier in the day. LSU, they may lose this game, but it's like their last, Ed Orgeron's last gasp, his last fight. I'm sensing they lose on a walk-off field goal. But 10 points is too much. At home, against the Florida team with question marks at quarterback, Emory Jones hasn't been that accurate. We'll have to see what happens with Anthony Richardson, how they use him running the ball. He's a stud. But give me LSU +10. 10 is a lot of points. I know LSU disappointed at Kentucky. I think they're due for a bit of a rebound. Even if they lose, it's not going to be by over 10. Number 6, we have Missouri +9 versus Texas A&M. This is the typical, Texas A&M wins a big game, then the letdown happens. Still not buying Texas A&M. Backup quarterback. I know that was a huge win against Alabama. They played great. The offense played great. Typical letdown. These are still college kids. You're giving Mizzou +9 points at home. Give me Mizzou all day, +9. That's an easy bet. Number 7, Nebraska -2.5 at Minnesota. I love this one. Nebraska, the best 3-4 team I've seen in a while. Could have easily beaten Michigan if, Martinez doesn't fumble the ball. They're driving down the field. They weren't really driving, but they had the ball. It was a tie game, 2 minutes left. They could have potentially driven down the field. Martinez gets stopped. They don't blow the whistle. Michigan, strips the ball out of his hands when the forward progress was already stopped, and they get an easy field goal, and Michigan ends up winning. Nebraska could have easily beaten Michigan -2.5 and at a bad Minnesota team. I understand they're on the road. I get that. They're going to cover the 2.5. You would think they'd cover the 2.5. Number 8, normally I don't like doubling up on games, but I do also have the under 48 in this one. And this is a noon game, 11 a.m. local start time in Minnesota. This is going to be this game has 31-10 written all over it, folks. Nebraska winning. I'm throwing it out there. 31-10, maybe 31-13, maybe Minnesota 2 early field goals and then a late touchdown. 31-13, I'm liking that game. Nebraska wins. They're due for a big win. They're one of the best 3-4 teams I've seen in a long time. Number 9, Buffalo -9 versus Ohio. Ohio is horrific, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of my locks of the week. Buffalo, really good team. I've bet on them. I've bet on them 3 times. I think I've lost twice, but I still like this team. -9 versus a horrific Ohio team. Ohio's the second worst team in the MAC. You could make a case. No, I would still put Akron behind them. I think Akron won last week, didn't they? I think they might have beaten Bowling Green. There's some really bad teams this year in the MAC, but Buffalo is not one of them. They're at home -9. Give me Buffalo to win that game by at least that much. Number 10, BYU +4.5 at Baylor. I think BYU wins this game outright. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I think BYU wins this game outright. 4.5. If they lose this game, it's going to be by maybe a point. I'm not buying Baylor at all. BYU coming off a loss, so they're going to be pissed. They're due for a good performance. They're due for a win. I get it's on the road. I get it's in Waco. Whatever. Baylor doesn't have great home field advantage. Let's be honest. Give me BYU. They're still a good team. They're not a top 10 team. I had the upset last week when I predicted Boise State would beat BYU. I called that, ladies and gentlemen. It's in previous videos. This one, I'm back on BYU. You got to game the system. You got to know when to zig and when to zag. Last week, I was off of BYU. This week, they're due for a good performance. I'm back on BYU +4.5. Moving on. Again, guys, I've got 17, I think, so we've got a nice little animation there. I don't know why I had that, but number 11, Pitt at Virginia Tech, the under 57.5. I'm chasing this one. I'm going to get it. I'm wrangling Pitt. I'm like a lasso. I need a cowboy. I'm a lasso because I've had Pitt the under in so many games recently, and their offense just keeps scoring. They will not stop scoring. They have one of the best scoring offenses in college football. The pace cannot keep up. Virginia Tech is a defensive-minded team. Pitt is going on the road. They're coming off a bye week, but give me the under. I'm chasing this one. Pitt will not score that much. They're due for a bad offensive performance. It's going to happen at some point. It's going to happen. Although I do like Pitt. Pitt is a lot better than their AP ranking says they are, by the way. Number 12, Texas Tech, -16.5 at Kansas. Don't overthink it. Kansas is horrific. Number 13, Ole Miss at Tennessee. Oh my goodness, I love this. The under 79. I understand Tennessee's been looking good on offense. Ole Miss has a really high-powered offense with Lane Kiffin. Folks, these teams are not combining to score 80 points. It's just not going to happen. So give me the under. I was thinking the over-under was going to be like 70 in this game. I see it 79. I know you could get a game where it's a shootout. The final score is like 45-42. I understand that. That's what happened last week with Ole Miss and Arkansas. I personally did not see that coming. But 79, come on, ladies and gentlemen. Those teams are not scoring 80 points, if we're being completely honest. Number 14, Boston College +2 versus NC State. I've got Boston College outright in this game, but you're going to give me 2 points. I'll take them. NC State, they're ranked. They beat Clemson. I get it. Their offense really isn't that good. Boston College is at home. They're due for a good performance. I love BC in this spot. I believe this is a mid-afternoon game, 3:30 start time. Oh, I love it. I love it in that spot. Number 15, Alabama and Mississippi State. I'll take the over 59. I think Bama's going to come out pissed, obviously. I don't see any scenario where Bama scores under 40 points. I think the minimum they score is 42 points. And then you've got Mississippi State, a team that has an air raid offense. So even if they really do struggle, you would think towards the end of the game when Bama starts playing their backups, if they are up by a lot, Mississippi State could get some yards and points. This is a throwing heavy team, pass heavy team. So Bama puts up 45 on the board. We would only need Mississippi State to score 2 touchdowns or something along those lines. I thought the over-under would have been mid-60s on this. I was pleasantly surprised to see it at 59. Give me the over in that game. 16, this was a game that didn't have a line for a while. I was told it was a pick'em, so I'll take Rutgers at Northwestern. I understand why this game is a pick'em, but I think this is a virtual lock. Rutgers is a decent team. Graciano has those guys playing really hard. They've had a few tough losses. You face Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State. They've had one of the toughest schedules in college football. I understand they're on the road at Northwestern, but folks, Northwestern is horrific this year. Northwestern does this thing where they're good every other year. And this year, last year they made the Big Ten Championship. This year under Pat Fitzgerald, I have a lot of respect for the dude, but this year they're just simply horrific. They're coming off a bye, but give me Rutgers. They're due for a good performance after 3 really tough games. Just to pick them, I'll pick Rutgers straight up to win that game. Number 17, University of Texas, San Antonio. They're still undefeated, and they're minus 18.5 versus a terrible Rice team. UTSA undefeated. I believe they're 6-0 now, still not ranked, but you're given 18.5. I think they'll cover that spread easy versus a horrific Rice team who has gotten blown out in several games this year, guys. Those are my top 17 best bets. Overall, looking at this, some of the bets I love the most, I would say Alabama, Mississippi State, the over 59 I love. Ole Miss at Tennessee, the under 79. Again, the only way, to be honest, the only way that game goes over is if it's one of those weird scores. Think about it. If it's 38-35, the under hits. I love that. I personally love that idea. Even, I think 40-35, the under hits. 40-38, the under hits. Yeah, I love that under. So those are 2 SEC matchups. Ole Miss, Tennessee, the under. Alabama, Mississippi State, the over. Those are 2 matchups I love. And then also, I love this Rutgers pick'em at Northwestern. I understand why they're doing this, but Rutgers plays really hard, and I think Vegas doesn't understand how bad Northwestern is. I mean, this is a bad football team, ladies and gentlemen, but that is going to do it for my week number 7 edition of my top 10 best bets, which is really a top 17, but I'm just going to keep titling it top 10 because it's like a little series. But guys, make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.